A SOUQ morning again, as usual, and welcome to SOUQ News Television. My name is Hans Mbah. On the show, SOUQ Business Landscape, we take a look at business headlines from various key business publications across the world from continent to continent. Asia, Nigeria, Africa, Europe, Americas, all across board, especially as it concerns us over here, and most especially how we can or should apply to Nigeria these headlines: business, economy, development, and the rest of all them good stuff. Remember to follow us across all social media, SOUQ News TV, at SOUQ News TV, and on YouTube. Let us engage on social media, the headlines that speak out to you. Interact with us, respond, engage some more, and comment on the headline. Let's get it started. But before we do, we have our usual, anti-usualist guests. You guessed it, none other than Dr. Osamhanze is here in the building. Welcome back. We have missed you on the show.
An honor to be here.
Right? You look very freshened up, and my people would say, ononogo, fresh. You know, the tip of the leaf that hasn't seen life yet, but it's just fresh.
I don't want to be flattered too much this morning.
Welcome back, Doc. Good to have you.
Pleasure to be here this morning.
But we have had quite some scary and, at the same time, flattering headlines that we would have really loved your inputs. But I guess we'll do that some other time off air.
Oh, my God.
But there's more today.
There's a lot happening across the globe, and
Yes.
we'll just look at it.
Yes.
From Africa to Asia to Europe,
Across the world.
all across the job, I see lots happening.
God help us. Business Day Nigeria. CBN steps in to save Naira with retail dollar auction. Does Naira need saving, especially at this time?
Naira needs to be saved, but CBN cannot save Naira.
So why is it put so boldly? It's a bold speech.
Well, you see, it's an attempt, I guess, that CBN is making to see, probably trying to hazard some guess, because what you're doing is that you've been selling to wholesalers, which are the retail banks, to sell to their customers. And you are thinking, okay, probably these guys are holding it. And therefore, you are thinking, okay, maybe I should just sell to customer directly. That may help the issue. But the truth of the matter is that, for me, that's treating symptom. And we have said this oftentimes in this show, that CBN need to really sit down to first do a root cause analysis. Why are we here? What brought us to this spot? And it is doing that root cause analysis that you can actually be thinking of a lasting solution to the Naira crisis. Everybody knows that the Naira, for a very long time in our history, was wrongly priced, because you find that government were doing a whole lot to see that we can put the rate at a certain level until the little birds came to roost.
So, Doc, is it remotely possible that the Naira doesn't want to even be saved consciously?
No.
While things like this
because
happen?
Naira is a constant variable. So, but there are intervening variables that is making the Naira to be unstable. So, what are these intervening variables? These are the issues that we have to look at in the face. Number one, there are a whole lot of people who are profiteering from Naira racketeering.
That's why I asked the question.
So
It doesn't really want to be saved.
So it's not Naira itself. It's people who are profiteering
I know.
from the racketeering that don't want the Naira saved.
Yes.
Now that's one dimension to it. So it's very easy. You can imagine, you don't need to have a shop. All you just need to do is acquire some dollars, and after a while, you make so much fortune out of it. So the risk of going into hard business is resolved. So there are a lot of people who are in this trade, and that's what they do. And so no matter what CBN will do, they are always looking around to see how to beat the CBN to it. That's one dimension. The second dimension is that we're also in an environment where, for example, a lot of people have lost hope in the country. We have shipped our children all to the other side of the divide. So we are working Naira here to pay dollar school fees, to pay pound school fees in Europe. So this is a pressure. A lot of people are moving out of the country. This is a pressure on Naira. And more fundamentally is that we are almost importing everything. So until those importation problems cease, how are we going to deal with the issue of Naira? Just now people are talking about hunger protests and things like that. And the past month, the federal government was forced to open the borders so that food can come into Nigeria. And these are things that we can grow here and eat here. And these are the issues that are actually affecting the Naira. We talk about the pressure, why NPCR is struggling to see how to balance up the issue of getting petrol. We cannot patronize what we have at home. So people say, oh, if you have a monopoly, you can't stabilize the price. So let's keep importing petrol. This, again, is gulping a lot of Naira. Now, even the local refinery that you have that was supposed to be producing for you, because we thought this over and over again, what will happen now, the local refinery itself will have to go source crude from outside, depending on the same dollar. So all this environment is what is conditioning the exact rate of Naira, because there's so much pressure and demand. It's common economies, the law of demand and supply. So if you have excess demand chasing few supply, what happened? The price will go up, and that is what it is. So this is simple economics, and I don't think this needs a rocket science to be able to figure out that if we want to deal with the issue here, what are we going to do is to see how do we put a stop on some of all these issues. What is making people to send their children abroad? Our schools are not good. Then government must need to fix schools. Schools that are functional, so that people can send their children to school and they are sure. If that would make us to audit, for example, the teachers, the lecturers that are in our universities and our secondary schools to ensure that we have good quality education, then, of course, that will reduce a lot.
True, because
now,
people get to come.
Oh, yes. If we need to fix our healthcare system so that people don't need to go to Europe or go to America before they get good treatment, first-class treatment, government must have to invest in that sector.
True.
We have to ensure that even those who are willing to do agriculture, because there's several interventions that government has done in the area of agriculture over the past years. But you see, somebody want to marry wife, go to the intervention, take money in the name of agriculture and go and marry a new wife or buy a new car. And they are not farmers. So, yes, these are the real issue. So we need to be able to see how to aggregate people into cooperatives and see that these are actually farmers, they have farm, and they need expansion, and that these are the people that government are really giving this intervention. These are the people who need the fertilizer, not somebody who want to trade fertilizer. Government bring out fertilizer, then somebody buy it and put it in a warehouse. He has no farm, waiting to resell to farmers. So these are the issues that government really need to deal with in terms of regulations, and then we can see that all this pressure on the demand for Naira will go down drastically, in my view.
Right, well spoken, sir. But the next headline also leans to CBN saving and bailing out. CBN bailout aids Unity Providence Bank merger. Still coming to bailout. How does that work?
Oh, yeah, it is. That is, of course, the regulatory role of the CBN. And again, we have to commend the CBN governor, who says that he's going to put his feet down to ensure that CBN does what is right. Unity Bank, of course, is should not be allowed to go down, and Providence Bank want to buy. So what CBN need to do is to see how do we intervene here and ensure
So
that...
in this one, CBN can bail out, but
Oh, yeah.
the last headline, they
yes, of course they have the money to do this because this is Naira to Naira. It's not Naira to dollar. That's the difference because CBN don't print dollar. That's why it can't bail out. So, but here it can print Naira to solve this problem.
Right. All right. Next headline: Nigeria's NLNG dividends fall 43% on gas constraints.
You know, we cannot but look at the paradigm.
The price of gas keeps going up and down and up.
Nigerian paradigm.
In the space of days.
Nigerian paradigm is what needs re-examination.
Okay.
You see, Mesa Otabi wrote a book. He called it By the Future.
Yes.
And in that small book that Mesa Otabi wrote, using the analogy of the story of Esau and Jacob, where one was a hunter and the other one is a farmer.
Yes.
Describe that most African nations are hunter nations. Because all we need is just kill and eat. That's all. We don't know how to nurture. This is a problem. So you just kill, you eat. Like he said, hunters, they don't even roast what they kill. They can sell it cheaply and move on. Because for hunter, it's daily survival.
No keeps for tomorrow.
No keeps for tomorrow. So there's no strategy. And I think this is the real fundamental problem with Nigeria. Whether it's in the cocoa days, or the palm kernel days, or the rubber days, or the granite pyramid days, to the oil days, this is the same way we deal with issues. As the money is coming, we are just spending. And at the end of the day, what happened? We waste everything without a single saving. That was why we lost the national airline, Nigerian Airways. Because those who were in authority feel that, oh, this is our plane, we can be riding it and do it anyhow.
For free.
Without investing in it. So we spend the little profit we are making and we waste it on it. I was just on Ethiopia Air and I was asking myself, since 1945, these people have been flying this airline consistently. And they have been making profit. Now flying into 134 nations. And yet we couldn't even run one simple airline. So it is the same paradigm of the hunter mentality. There's a problem in Nigeria. Money has been coming from LNG. We have been doing like this. Fear. No investment in the sector. You don't develop it.
You don't put the money back.
So the goose that is laying the golden egg, you are allowing it to die. This is a problem.
It's tired.
And that's what you get. So this is why you see in the last how many years, over 20, 30 years, there have been no fresh investment in the oil sector. All we have been doing is spending. And now the sector is begging for investment. The money is nowhere to be found. And I think this is the issue that we really need to deal with. Because when you look at us as a people, we are too hypocritical. Nobody tends to be saying the truth. Both high and low. And we cannot address the fundamental issues that affect us as a nation. That we need to make money. We need to save for tomorrow and not finish everything that we make today. So these are the issues. So you make money, you waste it, you don't reinvest, and then you are hoping that you have another kill another day like a hunter. So it's a problem.
Doc, in the quote of the wise doc that I know, in my lifetime, right?
We hope the change will come.
You can't hope anymore, Doc. You said it will come in your lifetime, and we believe you.
But we have to change this mindset.
We believe you.
You see, we have to change this
Doc,
mindset.
it's a war.
You see, it's unfortunate that people see things differently. Why I was reacting to one of the posts made by my friend yesterday, talking about how disappointed he was in the Bola Tinubu regime and all of that. And I asked him, bro, did you check his manifesto and the things that he's doing? Is there anything that is different between what he said he was going to do and what he's doing? If you want to judge a man, how do you judge the person? You judge him by the things that the man said he was going to do. So now you are now judging him by what is in your head.
So did he say there was going to be scarcity of food? And,
oh yes, he mentioned it. And that was why he said we need to clean up the mess in the oil sector so that we can have savings and invest in the critical sector that has lacked investment over the years. Which is what we are supposed to be doing. And that is what we are not even analyzing. That's why I'm worried about the people who are actually on the street say they are protesting over hunger. Who creates hunger? Government don't make farms. Individuals do.
So individuals are making themselves
Yes, of
hungry.
course. Individuals do. So you can't blame government that you are hungry. How? You have to make farm. Okay. So this is the problem. Now you see here, what are we looking at? We are having an environment where people are looking at you and say, yes, we need to make money here. We need to save money here. The question people are be asking is money being saved? How are we going to know that this money is being saved? That this investment are channeled into things that are necessary? Then you can take a trend in the last 1 year and see how the earnings of state has increased, the earnings of local government has increased in the same period of time. Because the cleaning is happening. But people want to see miracle overnight. And therefore, they can't even face the truth. This is the issue. So what do you want? Oh, go back to the old order. Because citizens want it. You can even hear people who you think that are cerebral. Oh, this is what citizens want. To continue to borrow. To waste resources. That is what citizens want. I don't think that's how people should lead.
Doc.
Leader tell people, follower, this is where we are going.
Somebody
Tighten your belt and let's run.
Somebody get Doc a cold cup of coffee. Not a hot one. Next headline, Heads Insurance appoints Furi and Iroche as non-executive directors. That's a story on page 27. We don't even need to analyze that. Nice one, Head Holdings. Customs to set food importation guidelines next week. That's supposed to be a good thing, though.
It's not good to me.
How? Food importation.
Why should we be importing food?
Maybe to mitigate what's going on right now for the past few months.
You see, on Thursday, on Friday, I was walking through St. Catherine down to Niagara Falls in Toronto. And I see where people are farming. Pepper, tomatoes, fresh one. They do it all year round. And what was running on my head was, this is where we should have a comparative advantage. So we can export pepper to Canada, to America, to Europe. But they are planting their own pepper, eating their own rice.
Soon they might not want anything from us.
They don't need it. And this is the economy that we are trying to model. And we are here crying that we want to go and buy food. The people who are rich, that is borrowing us money, they are producing their own food. You who is poor, who have no money, you want to go and buy food. This is the contradiction. Same thing that Lee Kuan Yew said some years back. That he saw things about Africans who were coming to Commonwealth to come and beg for money. They chartered flights, and the people who would borrow their money were on commercial flights. That's a tragedy of the African nation. Why should we be talking about food imports? We still have, as a country, globally, more land that is yet to be cultivated than anybody else in the world.
Really?
Over 60% of our arable land is yet to be touched. What business have we importing food?
Added to the long list of things.
Except that we are just terribly physically and mentally lazy people. That's the only way. There's no other language to use. We are mentally lazy, physically lazy, and we are asking people to spoon feed us so that we can have good life. It doesn't happen anywhere. People must have to fold their sleeves and put their hands to work. It's as simple as that. So there's no employment. We understand that, really. Government does not employ citizens everywhere you go in the world, whether it's in the Americas or in Europe. There's nowhere in the world that government employ every citizen. Nowhere. And it's only in Nigeria we are wanting that to be possible. And I don't know how that can happen. So people must understand that they have responsibility for their life. It's simple. Law of demand and supply. If you have plenty food produced, what happens to the price? It will go down.
True.
Now we are not willing to produce food.
No, but we don't have a lot of people that are venturing into agriculture.
Yeah, but you see, one of the things that people always allude, which is difficult for me to really understand, because I've tried to do the root cause analysis of some of all these things, is people talk about the security issues in Nigeria. That's why people don't go to the farm. I am in doubt whether that is the real issue. In short, yesterday, my cousin posted a voice note on our platform. And what he was saying was that, we are having too many strangers in our community now who are helping our parents to farm, because probably maybe our younger people are not longer many in the village, so they cannot do the farming. So they are not having people to come from the outside. And I said, this is the thing. Yeah, this is the issue. So it's not security issue. But what he was really worried about, that if these strangers are so many in your village, now they can even become a threat to the community.
Recipe for disaster.
The real reason why are they there? Because they are not local to produce food. So these people are coming from Chad, coming from Niger, coming from all over the place to come and do farm for our parents at home. That's what we are having. And this is the situation. Because we, in the name of education that is not working, that is not functional, are carrying pieces of paper, and we are moving around the street looking for a job that does not exist. This is a problem.
Doc, do you have a farm?
Yes, I do.
Oh, awesome. What do you grow?
Grow, what they call it, palm kernels.
That's amazing.
You see now.
No wonder you sound like this. I need to do something about that. We can be partners, can't we?
It's possible.
Yes, we will do that. All right. FG to support youth-based businesses with 110 billion naira, says the minister. So it's one of the reasons why this is happening is to enhance financial stability of companies, entrepreneurs, people that are willing to set up these businesses to help, and the ability to contribute to the economy. This is a great thing.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of intervention towards young people, but my real worry is to what extent will all this intervention happen? It's my real worry. A cousin of mine told me some months back, a particular member of House of Rep here in Lagos was going to empower 800 Lagosians on skills. And he was going to organize for them a 3-day training and then give them 100,000 to go and set up a small business that can, they can grow. And the story that my cousin told me was quite intriguing. That when they were sitting down, one guy came and said to them, guys, some today, we say, what is it? He said, there's one training, you just show up. It's for 3 days, so the thing is 100K. So you just show up, then after 3 days, the 100K, but you take 60, I take 40. and they went to show up. They gave them the 100K.
Doc said they went to show
Oh,
up.
yes. They went to show up. They gave them 100K.
40K.
So this one takes 60, this one takes 40. Like they have agreed.
No business.
No business.
Embezzlement.
This is the tragedy.
Waste of time.
This is a tragedy in our environment. And these are the things that we are not looking into. For that guy, it was saying, okay, I'm trying to help some people with a nano business. That is his mind.
Yes.
And they can start to multiply these things. You know, what the Bible calls faithfulness. Faithfulness is your ability to multiply what you have given. Now, these people are not even preserving it. They are wasting it. And they see it as an entitlement. It's our money. And when I hear that phrase, even for people who have never paid tax once and say, it's our taxpayers' money, it makes me really worried.
Doc, stop. Please, someone, Doc has to stop. Doc is on a roll. LG autonomy concerns over accountability as LGs get 17.5 trillion naira in 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Does this have to do with the monies that the federal government, the center, has decided to give them directly?
No, you see, the challenge here, really, incidentally, on Tuesday or so last week, we were having the same conversation, and I have the opportunity to have met the lead judge in that case, Justice Tijani Abubakar, who gave that ruling, and he was...
The LG autonomy.
Yes, on the LG autonomy, and gave us and said, look, of course, he has looked at the history, really, that the fundamentals of our law really do not support that state, but it was the abuse
of the funds.
Of the fund by LG in the first place that made those who talked about the 1999 Constitution to say, well, we need a supervisory role over the,
yes.
The fund, because the authorities of the local government were taking the money and they were wasting it completely. So the state needed to oversight the money.
Yes.
So now the real issue was not the fact that the state must hold the money. The authority that the Constitution gave to the state was a supervisory authority to ensure that the money that was going to the local government were used for what they were supposed to do. Now, over the years, we have seen that state had failed in that custodian role. And so, in his judgment, it was no longer necessary to keep the state as a custodian. And that was the basis of that ruling. So, but what people are looking at here is to say to you, look at it. Check out. Money really comes to the local government. The 774 local government in Nigeria, they are receiving allocation on a monthly basis. Those in Lagos are happy. It could be good. But some of us who come from the rural area, our local government chairmen live in the city.
Oh, yes.
They only go home at the end of the month when FAC allocation is coming. This is the tragedy. That the things that the local government should be doing, that they have failed to do, the things that state government ought to be doing that have failed to do, is all we blame on the federal government. Right. Severally, I have taken time to look at the allocations that come to these three tiers of government. If you were to analyze it very critically, you will see that there's more money in the last two tiers than at the center.
Right.
But what do we see? They do nothing.
Cars, houses.
And as a matter of fact, you see, they ride on the emotions of the people. Like they did in my state one time, and they put one signboard and say, we are very sorry. This road is so bad. It's because of the failure of federal government. And whereas the road that are Trong B that belong to the state, none of them is tarred. So you see the hypocrisy. The secondary schools that belong to the state that are supposed to have teachers, they don't have. And the government has the effrontery to print a signboard and go and put on the main road and say, we are sorry that this is inconvenience. It's because the federal government of Nigeria is not working. Whereas you yourself, who is the governor of the state, you are not working. No. So this is a problem. So we have to really define what we want. Do we want a federation? Or we want a parliamentary system?
Does it change anything, really?
So because this is the issue. Because when all of us are looking at Abuja.
Doc, the problem is when all of us remain the same.
Yeah, but you see, the challenge I have is this. People talk about fiscal federalism. I don't have a problem with fiscal federalism. But my issue is, even the little one you are given,
what do you do with it?
Are you accountable? I said to people, take for example, if there were no UBEC that is funded from Abuja, in my own state, where I come from, education would have been dead. Reason, secondary school that is on the purview of the state government is not taken care of.
That's one. You
barely will find 3 teachers in any secondary school from my state that is paid by government. Journalists can take camera to go and check out. You barely go and check the state university. Not functional. So these are the issue. So if there were no intervention from the federal at all, we would have lost that completely. Because even the one that they are priding themselves up today, say, oh, you bet primary school, is because the federal government is funding it. So these are, for me, the issues that we need to deal with. That as a people, we must sit down and redefine ourselves, because this real issue is not about one person.
But the sit-downs we have had, Doc, twice now, Rosonia and all that, it's still not being considered.
You know, the sit-down that we have had,
town hall meetings, over town hall meetings.
No, you see, the problem here, you must understand these issues.
The problem is the people, Doc.
It's not just...
It's not the strategy, it's not the government, it's not the state as an entity.
You know,
it's the people.
Let me give you one very practical example here. Maybe to give you an understanding of what I'm trying to say. The former commissioner in Kwankwaso government in Kano, we had a program together and he was giving us an indication how we came to have a Bureau for Public Procurement in place. BPP. How we came to have a Fiscal Responsibility Commission in place and Code of Conduct Bureau. Nigeria wanted more money during Obasanjo regime from IMF. And they said, we won't borrow you money because there's no accountability structure in your state. You take money and nobody can account for it. If we must give you more money, you need to put laws in place so that it becomes accountable. Now, what happened? That regime needed the loan and not the accountability structure. So they hurriedly put together an act for Bureau for Public Procurement, an act for Fiscal Responsibility Commission, an act for Code of Conduct Bureau. Quickly and hurriedly put it together. But unfortunately, as JC was doing, I said, we are working on it. The money came. And until the regime left, what happened? The government did not sign it. It took the Yadra government to sign that thing into act. And even when that act was signed, between 2007 until date, the council for the bureau has never been inaugurated once. We tell you the intent of the makers of the law. They didn't make the law for the good of the Nigerian state. They only made it because it was the only vehicle to receive the loan from World Bank and IMF. Look at the confab of 2014.
Doc.
It was to win election. Because the damn Goodluck Jonathan, who put the confab in place, had an ample time to sign that thing into law. Why did he not sign it before he left the government? So most of the things we do in this country, we don't do it because we love the country. We do it because we want to play on the psyche of the Nigerian man. And because we are driven too much by emotions, people don't really want to look at issues based on their facts. So we are driven by emotion. This is how we are as a country.
That's why I talked about the meetings we're talking about. You're saying we should put
So the meeting they are hypocritical meetings, because you do one in the day and there's another one in the night to overrule what was done in the daytime. That's what we are doing.
Doc, let us hold that thought and pray. We will pray some more. We've come to the tail end of the show. SOUQ Business Landscape. You see how energized and exciting it is when Dr. Osamhanze is in the building. And my name is Hans Mbah. We'll leave you here. Stay on for more of our programming on SOUQ News Television. Don't go anywhere.